Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. We'll let everyone find their seats, and then we'll get started. We got plenty down here, a lot of space down here. And the front, that's right. Good morning. My name is Katie Silcott, and I am the vocal music teacher at Shanahan Middle School. And I'm so delighted to introduce your opening act of your convocation. Many students you will recognize, as I have recognized my former Shanahan kids. We have the Olentangy High School keynotes and she-notes from Olentangy High School, as I said. And so what I want to say is, please don't hesitate to cheer. They feed off of your energy. So during their amazing dance breaks and their soloists, and anytime you want to hoot and holler and clap, they will absolutely love that. Like I said, they feed off of your energy, and your hearts will be so proud as you see your former students up here. Under the direction of Tim Smith, assisted by Mikey Morris and Tyler Domer, with choreography by Shane Coe, I'm going to have you get them started with their traditional cheer. We have the keynotes and she-notes. So we start by saying, key, she, what? And then you all say, key, she, no. You see, I knew you'd know it. Okay, here we go. Mr. Griffiths, you should do this. You out there? He might be at the high school already. Mr. Rafe, you ready? Okay, here we go. Key, she, what?
Key, she, no.
Key, she,
what? Key, she, no. Key, she, what? Key, she, no.
In the stars above. Without it, life is wasted time. Look inside your heart and I'll look inside of mine. Things look so bad everywhere. In this whole world, what is fair? We walk the line and try to see, falling behind in what could be. Whoa, whoa. If you don't wanna see me, did a full 180, crazy. thinking about the way I was. Did the heartbreak change me, baby? But look at where I ended up. All right, I'm going to ask everyone to stand back up for our national anthem, please. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the braves?
Wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Helena, that was wonderful, beautiful rendition of the national anthem. And Mr. Smith, are you still in here? Yep, there he is back there. Tim Smith is the music director at the Olentangy High School. Thank you for volunteering your time and service today. I was just a football coach. I only had to get 11 kids moving in the same direction. I have no idea how in the heck you possibly get all those great students moving in the same direction. And being a former keynote dad, I understand the time and energy and effort you guys put into that. So thank you very much. And Mrs. Bixler, I'm not sure if she's here or not, but the Liberty High School Orchestra was playing out there. It just sounded beautiful. I heard the Forrest Gump theme as one of the first ones, and it immediately made me think of the butter or the feather floating off and how uplifting. And we truly hope that's what you come away from here today, as this being an uplifting, inspirational message that will carry you through to kickstart your school year. So again, I'm Mark Rafe, your superintendent, in case you didn't know that. I'd like to first be the first one to officially welcome you back to what I know will be another great school year. So excited about the keynotes. I forgot to put my glasses on, and I just realized I really can't see what I'm at all. So it's just so much more enjoyable to be here with you in person. rather than doing this, obviously, virtually last year. And I know we are not quite back to normal yet, but I do believe it is getting better every day, as long as you don't watch any media. But, I do think things are getting better. And I hope that you were able to enjoy the summer, to create memorable moments with your friends and your family. And, last summer was obviously so very stressful. So my hope is that you were able to relax and enjoy yourself and that you took a well-deserved break. So it's great to be back. It's great to be here with you all in person. I always want to start with recognizing our Board of Education. It is my true privilege to work with a great Board of Education to ensure that our students have excellent educational opportunities. We have two members here who were able to stay for both sessions. Dr. Wise and Mrs. Fiesel were here this morning also, but I'd like to start by introducing Mrs. Mindy Patrick and our Board of Education Vice President, Mr. Dave King. So, and I know, you know we are very, very fortunate to have a very strong relationship with our board, and I know for me personally, I can't tell you how much I appreciate their efforts. Everybody talks to me about how difficult my job is and how stressful things must be, and I always remind the board that I get paid. They do this mostly volunteer, and they give unbelievable amounts of time. Mr. King and Mrs. Fiesel's terms in office are expiring this fall, and neither of them are seeking another term in office, so I wanted to make sure we take a great opportunity to recognize them. Dave and Julie have given a combined 26 years of service to our district. They have seen 7 levies passed and built 11 buildings, and there is simply not enough I could say to express our collective gratitude and my personal appreciation for that selfless dedication to Olentangy schools. And again, having had 4 of our own children go through the district, we got to experience it firsthand. So they're going to be leaving very big shoes to fill, but we will be forever indebted. Mr. King, thank you again. Another group of individuals I have to make sure I recognize is our district leadership team. Down here in the front row, our district treasurer, Mrs. Emily Hatfield. Our chief of administrative services, Mr. Randy Wright. Chief academic officer, Dr. Jack Fetty. And our chief operations officer, Mr. Todd Meyer. Also want to introduce Mrs. Krista Davis, our Chief Communications Officer. She was not able to be here today, but I know she is watching the streaming and monitoring every one of my words closely as our members of her communications team. I'm just waiting to see if I get a text message while I'm talking that I just went off script somehow. You're not here, Krista. I do want to say hello and welcome to everybody who's watching us out in the buildings. We're, glad to be able to do this in both mediums, in person and for those people back in the buildings. Obviously, we're going to have some limitations with capacity here, so hope you're enjoying the show. I also want to make sure I honor, I'm very honored to work very closely with all 4 of our association leaders. And I'm not sure any are in attendance here physically. Elaine was here this morning, Ms. Elaine Eddy, the Olentangy Teachers Association president. Clap for Elaine. Those of you who are OTA members in the audience know what a great OTA president Elaine is, and we are so blessed to have such a good collaborative relationship. Our OPSI Local 39 president, he's new to us. He's a head custodian at Wyandotte Run Elementary School, Mr. Rob Comstock. Hi, Rob. Our OPSI Local 322 president, Mr. Kevin Vangeloff. And the OPSI Local 222 representing our educational aides, Mrs. Sue Capretta. You know, again, collectively, we are really lucky to have the strong relationships, the collaborative relationships with all of our associations, and that really does lead to our success. So, you know, and again, more than ever before, I think we've all collectively been looking forward to this school year, even with still some uncertainty. And there's no secret why. Last school year was tough. The last 18 months have been tough. And despite the continuation of this pandemic, we are working on slowly returning to our normal worlds. And for us, August is that opportunity in the world of education for a fresh start, a new beginning, a time to reflect and anticipate and really consider our priorities. So this year, I'm proud to share that we are going to spend time today here hearing from our own members of our own Olentangy family. Olentangy Schools is not only one of the best schools in the state, but in the nation. So who better to hear from than members of our own community who in a few minutes will share their personal stories of transformation during the pandemic and beyond. They'll share their insights about their experiences of the last year. So we're going to start it off by please joining me in welcoming our first two speakers, Mrs. Erin Bush, a German and journalism teacher here at Berlin High School, followed by Ms. Jen Fury, our assistant. Huh? Oh. I just thought I saw Erin Bush sitting there. I guess I told you I can't see. Beeman, who didn't flip my script? Because anybody who knows me well, it can't possibly be my fault. Right? Randy, why didn't you flip my script? I got another one in here somewhere. There they are. Teachable moment. We all make mistakes, right? I'm vulnerable right now. You're not speaking? Oh. Got it. Who better to hear from other than members of our community? Bop, 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 bop. Join me in welcoming our first two speakers. Mrs. Bethany Shondell, woo! Kindergarten teacher at Arrowhead Elementary School, and Ms. Jen Fury, Assistant Director of Instructional Technology, who led our committed distance learning efforts last year. All right, Bethany, let's go. Follow that.
Good morning. One of my favorite things about teaching kindergarten is that I get to be one of the first impressions for our families and students of our school and district. Each year, I am honored and excited to welcome new students and families into our building. I am purposeful when I work to build relationships, make connections, and gain the trust of every family that walks through the door. So last summer, I wondered, how exactly would I be able to do that during a pandemic? We all drew on our curiosity and came up with a plan for welcoming everyone back to school. Imagine being a parent of a kindergartner for a moment. Maybe some of you have already been there, or maybe you will at some point. While it is a very exciting milestone, it also can be hard to let your child go, even under normal circumstances. Now imagine that this is the only way you get to meet your child's teacher and see their classroom. I really wanted to do everything possible to make sure that parents felt comfortable and confident sending their child to me. I tried, but it wasn't quite the same experience. There wasn't the same energy and excitement as a typical orientation and open house. We didn't get to feel the same connection and community, and that was frustrating. A few days later, the students arrived, and having children back in my classroom brought a sense of joy and excitement that I really needed. It was time to build relationships with and among students. While I gave it my all, I felt like much of my time and energy was spent following guidelines and keeping students safe. Frequently asking students to pull up their mask and cover their nose, squirting the sanitizer over and over again, reminders to stay in your space or keep your bubble, making sure hands were washed with soap and water. The list goes on. In all honesty, I got tired of hearing myself say those things. So how did students feel? Was I connecting with the students the way I wanted to? I questioned my effectiveness with teaching and connecting. In fact, this is part of a text message response to my principal mid-year. I said, "Thank you so much for sending this. I really needed to see that. This year has been really hard, and I just don't feel like I'm connecting with families and students the way I typically do." But of course, I kept trying, because that's what resilient educators do. We don't give up when things get hard. I certainly felt like giving up. I was tired and run down from the most challenging year in my teaching career. But I managed my emotions and tried to remain positive, because maybe I was connecting with my students and families, but how did they feel? I guess I wasn't really sure. It seemed like my students were happy, and I hadn't received any negative feedback. But was that really enough to know that I had been the teacher I truly wanted to be? This is a picture from the last day of school, a picture that I almost didn't even take, because after the school year that we had, I wasn't sure I had the energy to put together my typical end-of-the-year picture frame gift, or that these students would even want a picture of me. The self-doubt snuck right back in. I decided to go ahead with the gift, said my heartfelt goodbyes, and finally got to sneak in a hug or two. The following day, I received an unbelievably kind message from a parent with this picture. It is one of my students sleeping next to the picture of her and I. When I opened this email, I cried, because even though it had been the most challenging year of my life, I had done it. I had connected with these students and families, and I had a positive impact on this child and her family. So, how has this year transformed me? Mostly, it has reminded me to not lose sight of my why. I am here for the students and for their families. When work becomes overwhelming and frustrating, when limitations and guidelines that are out of my control seem crippling, when I'm doubting if what I do even makes a difference, I will look at these pictures as my reminder. I commit to keeping relationships first and everything else second. I will be intentional in developing relationships with the hope that every child and every family that enters my classroom will know how much I care about them. They will hear it in my words, and they will see it in my actions. I will remain purposeful and kind with a mission to love people. Thank you.
Good morning. As Mr. Rafe shared, last year I was the lead administrator for the Committed Distance Learning Program, and my story began on July 30th. On July 30th, 2020, NASA launched the Mars rover Perseverance. The design for Perseverance evolved from the Mars rover Curiosity. The two rovers share a lot of similarities, including a similar body plan. However, Perseverance had some new elements, most notably a toolbox. This toolbox, among other updates, enabled Perseverance to work more efficiently, gave more opportunities for exploring and understanding Mars. Perseverance has a greater level of independence than Curiosity ever did. The design allows for future growth. While I've never worked for NASA, I am inclined to believe that to design Curiosity and Perseverance, as well as other rovers, it took a team that came together with one purpose, one intent, a shared vision and mindset. A team that went through multiple levels of discomfort, but was and continues to be willing to grow and learn together. A team that supported each other's curiosities, knowing that curiosity and perseverance often lead to new and better opportunities. Also, on July 30th, 2020, less than 9 hours after Perseverance launched, curiosity drove my decision to enter into what would become a year of discomfort like none I'd ever experienced before. Discomfort I'd ultimately persevere through. On July 30th, 2020, if you'd compared levels of discomfort between NASA and me, I'm pretty sure I'd have won. Because let's be honest, if NASA wasn't successful with their Perseverance mission, how many would have known or truly been bothered by it? But if Olentangy wasn't successful with their CDL program, everyone would have heard about it. While I can't speak to the specifics of NASA, I can speak to a few of the specifics that made CDL successful. We had a team. We had a family. We had close to 300 educators with different expertise and insights that came together from across the district. Even with the discomfort that so many experienced, this team showed up. Every day, this team showed up. This team had one purpose, one intent, and that was to do what we'd always done before, to facilitate maximum learning for every student in our CDL program. It just looked a bit different this year. This team had a shared vision and mindset. This team also had fun. We had a lot of fun. This team laughed together and we cried together. We even danced together. This team supported each other's curiosities, created together, and shared innovative ways of teaching our students. This team's constant curiosity and perseverance created opportunities for our students to flourish in ways we never could have imagined. In order for Perseverance to be successful, NASA couldn't just replicate curiosity. More than likely, they would have gotten the same level of understanding as before. The team took the pieces and the parts of curiosity that worked, and then they brought in the new and better elements. They purposely reflected on lessons learned to reach new horizons in the study of Mars. Last year wasn't only about CDL. Everyone in this room experienced discomfort on our journeys last year. Everyone in this district experienced discomfort on their journey last year. The hybrid learning model, transportation, food service, technology, we all face a level of discomfort. I do believe that the funny thing about a journey is that no two individuals on the exact same journey ever really experience the exact same thing. It's all a matter of your unique perspective and reflection. Every individual in our organization, because of our journeys during the 2021 school year, we all have a new and better toolbox that we can work with. One that I do believe if we take our teams and purposely reflect on what was working and what wasn't, reflect on the lessons learned last year, can lead to significant growth for each of us, ultimately leading to better learning opportunities for our students. But just as with NASA, we can't do this alone. We need each other. We need our teams. This year, we have the opportunity to take our teams on a new journey. We need to lead our teams not just in sharing their stories, but sharing their optimism, their curiosity, and their ingenuity. We also need to remember that our students have a story too. They've been on a journey. We need to embrace their spirit, their wisdom, and their know-how. And we cannot shy from the discomfort that we know will come from this level of reflection, because it's through discomfort that we have the opportunity to become a better version of ourselves. So as we start this new school year and we look at this new better, it's my hope that just like with curiosity and perseverance, we'll take the pieces and the parts that worked, but we'll also bring in the new and better elements, this new toolbox that so many of us now have, ultimately creating opportunities for our students to reach new horizons.
Thank you, Bethany and Jen, for sharing your stories. Thank you. The lessons you shared about not losing sight of your why and perseverance being key to everything we do are just invaluable. So thank you so much for putting yourself out there and sharing those stories. As we all know, one of the key reasons Olentangy Schools is so successful is because of our close partnership with our parents. So next, I am pleased to introduce Mrs. Jenny Vermeulen, a parent of a Tyler Run elementary student and Liberty Middle School student who will share her parent perspective and the deep impact that happens when you go the extra mile.
Good morning. Well, I feel really, really lucky to be part of this day with you and here representing the perspective from a parent as we all get ready to go back tomorrow. And you know, when I think of everything that's going on in the world right now that's creating so much extra, right? So much extra noise, extra stress, extra work. I want to go in a little different direction today and remind you all that all the extra that you already do inside or outside of a pandemic does not go unnoticed and most certainly does not go unappreciated. And in fact, I think that's actually why I'm here, because on the night before the last day of school last year, I sent Mr. Rafe an email that I'd been waiting for several years to send to him. And you know, the purpose of that email was to express my sincerest gratitude to an amazing group of people who made a huge difference in the life of a little boy and in the life of his family. They're here, so this is going to be hard for me, harder than it was this morning. With my son's permission, I'm going to share the email that I sent to Mr. Rafe. Dear Mr. Rafe, I'm hoping you will find some joy in this email as I've waited 5 years to write it. You see, my son Owen, my husband Mark, my daughter Olivia and I are forever in debt to several special people that have impacted a little boy and his family in a very big way. Owen was diagnosed with ADHD halfway through kindergarten. As you can probably figure from experience, all of you, that a boy who's diagnosed with ADHD in kindergarten is probably one who has the hyperactive and impulsive type diagnosis, and you'd be right. We always knew there was something going on with Owen when he was a little guy, but we found out for sure in kindergarten. And the struggle, as they say, was real. So we did what many do. We tried the ADHD medications, all of them, until the only thing that we could do is race for a detox. While I'm a big advocate of the support the medications can provide for a child with ADHD, Owen could not tolerate any of them. Every single one of them made him agitated and aggressive. I didn't even recognize my little boy suddenly, and very quickly we felt pretty alone and so very scared. I can't quite put into words what that was like, but I do remember being in a constant state of panic, and I can't even really imagine what that was like for him. I still don't think I fully know. So we had several months like that before we chose to seek other ways to help him cope. He eventually came back to the hyper-impulsive little guy he was before, but that was so much better than the medicated version of a child who wasn't even himself. But now we turned our worry over to how are we going to get him through school? And not only were we worried about his education, but we were worried about the impact he would have on others' ability to learn because he was very disruptive. So I'm happy to report that he is doing so great now. I'm cautiously optimistic about middle school, puberty, and all the other fun stuff ahead, but I now know we can get through it. I'm not sure if we'd be doing this great, or if I'd be feeling this confident, or if he would be feeling this confident, if it wasn't for the following people who Owen and his family will always cherish. In fact, as we are coming to the last day at Tyler Run tomorrow, we were reminiscing about each of them. Katie Lukács, the advocate. Katie went through the wildest part of the ride with Owen. Believe it or not, Katie had the wildest part of the ride, guys. With Owen, and she was surely put through the ringer that year. But oh, did she team up with us to fight for him. She fought for him to be okay in every possible way. And the gift that she gave Owen is that she taught us to advocate for him. Susie Stegner, the one who taught Owen how to cope. Susie was prepared for Owen from day one and taught him and us so many strategies to cope with his ADHD. He didn't perfect them in first grade, but he definitely built the base. And learning to cope was the gift Susie gave him that I believe he will always rely on. Mandy Roback, the one who pushed him. Mandy took Owen under her wing and taught him how to push himself, even when it was really hard, and she didn't allow us, or him, or us, to give up, even when it was really hard. The gift from Mandy is that she taught Owen how to be proud of himself when he tried his best, and how to try to take responsibility when he didn't. Heidi Gunn, the one who accepted him. As Owen got a little older, kids got a little less forgiving. And he was improving, but he still crossed boundaries, and he was still a little disruptive. Heidi always accepted Owen for who he is. She gave him the understanding, or the gift she gave him is the understanding that somebody cannot like what you did, but that doesn't mean that they don't like you. That's a really important lesson for a kid with ADHD to learn. They don't have to be mutually exclusive. Laura Domini, the one who loved him. Laura did a lot to build Owen's self-esteem in 4th grade. She loved him. He knew it and we knew it. And the gift she gave him is the confidence to come to school and genuinely feel like he fit in there. Shannon Price, the one who lifted him. So that last year was a crazy year for everyone. And Shannon connected with Owen right away. They had a great year together, and he didn't complain about going to school one time. I've seen him grow so much this year, and the gift Shannon gave him is the proof that he can be happy in a classroom and the confidence that next year will be fine. And none of this is to say that each of these teachers doesn't do each of these things and so much more all the time. They just happen to stand out for doing them so well at a time that he needed it the most. And I would be remiss if I didn't also mention how grateful we were for the aides, the various aides that supported Owen when he needed a break to get rid of some of his energy, or came in the classroom to help him stay focused. I'm really proud of Owen. He's worked very hard, but I know we would not be where we are if it were not for these wonderful, smart, kind, compassionate educators you and I are both so lucky to have in our district. Thank you from the bottom of our heart. Sincerely, the Vermeulen. And so I will just end this by saying that I believe that this audience, wherever you are in this audience, is filled with Katie's and Susie's and Mandy's and Heidi's and Laura's and Shannon's and Laura's. And so the one thing I will say is please, please know that you do make a difference, every one of you. And tomorrow, all these students are going to walk back into your classroom, or your lunchroom, or your office, or onto your bus, or onto your field, or, heaven help us, into your Zoom meeting. And you impact them, and you impact their families, maybe more than you will ever know. So thank you for letting me be part of your special day. It is truly an honor for me, and I hope you have a fantastic year.
Got you good, didn't she, Dominique? Thank you again, Jenny, for sharing that, for just being vulnerable and sharing that impact that our staff has made on your family. You know, people talk to, they say things to me like, "Oh my gosh, things are so must be so hard for you." Things, you know, and this, I do hear some, you know, people that are angry don't wait 5 years to send an email like that. But that's a good one. But I get the, you know, like, I see Jennifer Mazza sitting here as the principal of the building. It's just this sense of pride when the people that you work with have that kind of impact on people. And it's, you know, that, I always remind myself of that, far more good is happening here than not. So it is really important that you shared that. Our staff needs to hear that. They need to know that the big and little kindnesses do matter. They really do every day. They make a huge difference. So thank you very much for reminding us all of that. So, and again, while this year has been hard, I'm going to keep saying that. I know we've all leaned on each other and we've learned from each other. We've practiced kindness and we've dug deep when we've thought that there just wasn't much more left to give. And things have been messy, you know, and I know you can all relate to that. And again, I think it really helps to hear from members of our family and hear them share their perspectives. So next we have joining us Wyandotte Run Elementary School teacher, I got it, Anissa Kent, followed by Berlin High School student Lacey Strauss.
I'm shorter. When I was asked to speak at Convocation on the topics of transformation, personal and professional growth, I laughed. When I think of the past 18 months, I laugh. I laugh because I can't believe that this is real life. I laugh because if I don't, I will cry. I laugh because I am so incredibly proud of myself and my teammates and my students. I have a lot of stories to tell. We all have lots of stories to tell. Here's a little of mine. I believe that life is about trusting in the relationships we build and in the choices that we make. Nothing tested this like my decision to be a CDL teacher. Spring of 2020 was an epic disaster at my house. My husband and I were both trying to work remotely for the first time ever, right? We had our 3 children who were 4 and under now at home with us. Well, that was just a big comical failure. Somehow, we made it to summer. It's now July 2020, and I'm a first grade CDL teacher. Families were going to be looking to us very soon, and we're like, let's stay positive. We can do this. But what were we even trying to do? All of our roles as teachers had completely shifted. I had no idea where I fit in this virtual world and in these children's complicated lives. My best and worst quality is that I typically wear my heart on my sleeve. There was no room for failure in this new space, and it was chaotic. I could not shut school off. It was so hard to be present with my own family. I'd start working early in the morning when my kids left for daycare, would pause when they got home, and then went right back to work when they went to bed. Every single minute had to be purposeful and planned because every single second of live interaction counted. Every decision I made, even down to what color is the carpet in my Bitmoji classroom, became this big rabbit hole of painstaking doubt and detail. I was at my breaking point. I made the decision to take a personal day, a mental health day, for my birthday in October. It was my first day, and I'm sure a lot of you are in the same boat as me. It was my first day of not working, including the weekends, since July. When my husband and I got back from lunch, I had flowers on my front porch from my students and their families. I obviously cried. I cried tears of surprise and joy, of validation that my students and their families really did like me. Tears of the letdown of the past few months, and tears of, oh my gosh, I really am doing this. Something shifted in my mindset that day. I cannot function in such an unbalanced state of mind. We are not machines, and our students and their families aren't machines. And I needed to start trusting again. Trusting myself, trusting other people, trusting my decisions. From this permission I gave myself to trust, also came the decisions to allow myself to turn off my computer in the afternoon when the day was over and not check Teams or Seesaw or email on my phone, to allow myself to take advantage of not having recess duty and go for a quick run at lunch, to allow myself to be silly with my students without being embarrassed by their adult family members and their nannies who were watching. With this trust came solid grounding back to myself as a whole person and not just as this crazed workaholic. And for me, the actual work of virtual school got much more manageable and honestly, very enjoyable. I set clear and attainable expectations for myself. I didn't just redefine, I reimagined my whole purpose. I had very honest and emotional conversations about my need for this mindset shift with just about everyone who would listen to me. I am forever grateful for my teammates and my friends who listened to my ragey rants, gave me concrete and attainable strategies, shared solid resources, pulled me out of my spiral, and gave me the swift kick of motivation that I needed to authentically ground myself and move forward. I don't want things to go back to normal this year. I want to intentionally move forward. I want to remember my personal struggles and successes and take them with me as my roadmap. I want to trust my reimagined purpose and my gut instincts as an educator. I want to take that actual digital toolbox that technology created back into my classroom. I want to stay curious and motivated to keep learning new ways to do the same old things. I want to remember how our first grade CDL team successfully brought our students to Camp Skeeter in a virtual world. I want to trust that all these new tricks that I have will fit in the classroom with me. I am so grateful to share my experience today, that my reimagined purpose has led me to never knowing a group of students this well, academically and personally, as I know these sweet, sweet kids that I am lucky enough to loop with into second grade. This isn't the end. Stressful peaks are here, and more are coming. My inbox will soon be full of noise, and my lists will always be long. But I will never forget how astounded I still feel by the growth of all of our students because of trusting in ourselves and trusting in the relationships we built with their families, despite all the odds against us. So let's keep moving forward.
Well, good morning, everyone. Falling down is an accident, but staying down is a choice. The pandemic impacted each and every one of our lives in so many ways. Relationships, physical health, mentality, the list goes on and on. There is no escaping what we all went through the past year, and one thing is for sure, there is no going back to before the pandemic. A famous writer, Steve Maraboli, once said, "The truth is, unless you let go, unless you forgive yourself,
unless you forgive the situation, unless you realize the situation is over, you cannot move forward. No one asked to go through as much as we all did. Every single person in this room fell in some sort of way. Now we must decide what to do next. And I say we rise up. As I look out into the crowd, I don't see teachers, principals, administrators. I see family in every face. What is it that makes a family? Is it being related to someone? Is it waking up to your mother making breakfast? Well, I can assure you that students see family completely different than all of that. I saw family when at my first day at Olentangy Berlin High School, Principal Spinner tried to guess what I packed for lunch to make me laugh. And you know what? He weirdly guessed exactly right. I saw family when our school resource officer, Deputy Gaines, threw a ball in a hallway to different students just to lighten their mood. I saw family when I underestimated myself, and my chemistry teacher, Mr. Schrock, assured me that I could do and achieve amazing things in my future. I saw family when Miss Bush, my journalism teacher, saw potential in me and helped me to find my passion in journalism. I saw family in my guidance counselor, Miss Smith, when she persuaded me to take journalism. I had no intentions of doing so. But without them, I wouldn't be standing here right now, without them unlocking a new interest I never knew I had within me. On behalf of all the students, I can assure you that those little things impact us. When you take the time to get to know us, it has such an amazing effect. This is what makes us a family. I can go to school knowing that I will be welcomed and cared for. This is just one of the many things that makes the Olentangy School District so wonderful. You are not just staff members. Your words and your actions have power. What all you do will stay with us for the rest of our lives. You are our mentors, our friends, and our family. Your care and your love is what makes this school so special. I just moved here this previous year, and I can feel the love everyone has for one another since day one. In fact, before I moved here, I had a friend who was already a student here. I texted her and asked, "What is this school like? Is there anything I should be aware of?" And I'll never forget what she said back to me. She said, "Lacey, this school is completely different from anything you or I have ever seen before. Everyone is so extremely nice and kind to one another. The students, the teachers, the principal, anyone you could possibly think of. They are so sweet, it's almost scary." I laughed and couldn't believe what she was saying. And then I went to school, and everyone was unbelievably kind. I have never felt more welcomed and more at home in my entire life. It was like you could feel the love in the air, which reminded me of something I feel like truly resembles who we are. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast. It is not proud, it does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered. It keeps no records of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always trusts, always protects, always hopes, always perseveres. Because our district trusts and protects us, we have hope. Because our district loves us, we are a family. We persevere and we thrive. I came from 2 different high schools before attending the Olentangy School District. If I told you that when I first moved here I wasn't stressed or scared, I would 100% be lying. I had no idea what to expect. And to make matters worse, I came in the middle of a global pandemic. My teachers and staff members helped me to feel like I wasn't at a new school. I was at my new home. They went above and beyond by making relationships and friendships I'll never forget. At my old school, I've never had friendships with teachers. They never seemed to care about the students' lives or what's going on with us. All they wanted to do was get their job done and then leave. On the contrary, I never experienced that here. Since day one, everyone was ready to get to know me, including my teachers, the principals, custodians, the cafeteria workers, the bus drivers, even the office ladies were so ready to get to know me and support me. Even while wearing a face mask and going to school in a hybrid, I have never been happier. I haven't received the experience or the opportunity to go to school events and all the activities due to the pandemic. But even so, I could see what makes this district so special. The pride that takes place in Olentangy is powerful. The amount of spirit wear we wear all the time. It pains me to say it, but at my first high school, I was embarrassed to buy spirit wear. No one wanted to wear a shirt with their school name on it, and no one did. Here, we wear it at least once a week. And this is because we have pride. I can wear a sweatshirt with my school's name on it and be proud. The Olentangy district is a place of hope and success, and I could never be more proud of it. I always wanted to come here, and now that I've finally gotten the chance, it's better than I could have ever imagined. I consider being part of the Olentangy School District a blessing because it improved my life to a better future. Even in the face of a global pandemic, we fought through and we fought hard. We still created a place of love, beauty, and family through such a dark time. I can assure you, there is nothing that we can't conquer. It's time to continue spreading the love and the light that makes this school special. When the students come to school tomorrow, you will be the first face we see. Your words, your smiles, your wisdom will stay with us for many years to come. If no one else said it, let me be the first to say, thank you. Thank you to everyone that took the time to care, to love, to inspire, to make a difference. You do not go unnoticed. You have all done such an amazing job to create such a magical place. Thank you for not giving up during such a hard time. Thank you for not giving up on us. The pandemic came with a shock and surprised us all. But starting today, starting now, it's time to move forward. Now is the time to seize your tomorrow, today. We are one family, one Olentangy. Thank you.
See, that's what I'm talking about. I get, again, what said great pride. I do want to point out Lacey's father, Mr. Strauss, is here, joined us today to hear her speak. You did a great job there, Mr. Strauss. I got a little emotional this morning after Lacey spoke, and it is, and I know that kind of thing can be said truly about all of our schools. And Anissa, thank you very much for sharing. I think one of our issues is we tend to have a level of perfection that we strive to achieve, and that is just really difficult. And you remind us that those efforts don't have to be perfect to be meaningful. So just taking care of ourselves and trusting ourselves to help is key to helping remember our why. And you guys both did a great job. So thank you. And after hearing Lacey, it really resonates, it really strikes me to recall what I frequently share with staff. We talk all the time about our mission to facilitate maximum learning for every student, and that is always at the forefront of everything that we do. But we can't do that unless we truly care for our kids, because kids don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And, hearing other people actually talk about that makes me think, gosh, maybe somebody is listening to me around here. But it's been that way. It isn't something that I certainly did here. It's been that way ever since I got here 19 years ago. And it's It's just so important to the work that we do. And when I think about the last 18 months, what really comes to mind is that we've really seen the best in people, and we've seen the worst in people. And it's easy to fixate on that worst in people. And it may appear that at times in my position, I do get that worst of people. But I've also found it's important to step back and empathize and to try to understand from their perspective. I try to understand their perspective because each person, no matter their issue, is bringing it to my attention because they care. They care about their children, they care about their schools, and that is a great thing. So each day I just continue to try to focus on the positive. And I try to be the best, and I try to focus on the best each person has to offer, no matter how they happen to offer it. They're very creative. In doing this, I believe I can, personally, I can, and we all can overcome adversity, support each other, and most importantly, support our students. So this is what really drives me to just never give up on what we're doing. Okay, so we do this every year at Convocation. I'd like to start off by, did you just try to clap? Somebody just try to clap? I don't know, I thought I heard something. Each school year, we do this every year at Convocation. We want to transition to recognizing our people in the organization that are new to the organization. Anybody who is brand new to Olentangy, stand up. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope that you heard the message loud and clear, and you realize what a great team we have here, and you really need to learn on those people because they will support you and help you learn the Olentangy way. I also want to recognize anyone who is in a new role. If you have changed jobs from a previous role to a new role, stand up. Bunch of Shale Meadows. I know that. Very good. Good luck. I know we had anytime we open a new building, we do have a lot of transition and there's a lot of change, but thank you for your willingness to accept those new roles, and I wish you the best of luck for continued success. So, at this point of the program, this is where we normally take the time to announce our district and teacher and employee of the year. So I know there's just not as much suspense revolving that this time around because you're all winners. You know, we announced last year that all of you were Teacher or Employee of the Year, and words like appreciation and gratitude and admiration all come to mind when I consider the way each of you has managed the challenges of the last school year. So once again, thank you for your dedication, your care, thank you for your concern. I wanted to take some time today to watch the video recapping last year, so that's what we're going to do now.
Olentangy teachers and staff, last spring you made the shift from face-to-face teaching and service to remote school. In a matter of days, you found and developed innovative solutions to never-before-faced challenges. You designed virtual lessons with limited time and resources. You fed children who were unsure where their next meal was coming from and created a sense of community. You made sure students in need of a device got one. There was no roadmap or blueprint. It wasn't perfect. There were mistakes along the way, but you were there for our students and their families every single day. Fast forward to August, where despite the roadblocks and constant changes to the pandemic guidance and safety protocols, you proved we could bring students back into a classroom safely, and that it was possible to build a classroom community online or part-time in person, where students felt connected and engaged. You've partnered with families and helped find resources for students who were struggling. You've experimented with new approaches to special education services. You've made sure we have had plenty of trained staff and substitutes. You've continued to learn. You're crafting meaningful lessons that empower students. You're delivering PPE to buildings routinely. You're disinfecting buses between routes. You're making sure our buildings are clean and equipped and students are socially distanced and protected. Meanwhile, our work is especially challenging right now. It can feel draining when you have a barrage of emails to answer or when you have to do a video conference and face a wall of black screens. But know this, you are impacting lives. Right now, there's a student that feels known and heard because of you. There's a student that feels safe and supported because of you. There's a student who's passionate about learning because of you. There are students who will remember you forever as someone who was there for them in these tough times. You are changing the world even when you can't see it. So thank you.
Good job up there, Vince. He was a little slow on the draw, and my face appeared on the screen, and I don't really like that, so he was quicker on the draw up there. Good job, Vince. Nice. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, though. I could not be more proud of each of you and the work that you accomplish, and I continue to be truly humbled and honored to work with you as your superintendent. I am now more than ever impressed with your perseverance and your grit. So thank you for all that you continue to do for our students, our families, and our school community. You know, please know, you have made a huge difference. So we're going to conclude today with a little activity that you're going to do after we get done. And we've talked a lot about transformation and change. And one of the things that comes to mind is a caterpillar transforming into a beautiful butterfly. So we're going to watch a video of how to, as a symbol of one of these stories of transformation, it will hopefully give you inspiration to continue to grow stronger from your learning experiences. Once we watch the video and we dismiss, there are pieces of paper in the commons that you will be able to construct your own origami butterfly that we are going to try to create a collective piece of art. Now, you can see me stumbling a little bit with this whole thing, and partly it's because I've already tried this experience at our administrative retreat, and my origami experience was an epic fail. So, I have way more faith in all of you, especially being from our elementary division. So, with that, Yeah. Didn't happen for me. Not even close. I think I got 3 folds in and I quit. I'm a quitter, so I know you guys we differentiated though. We gave you written directions instead of just doing the video. So again, before I dismiss you, I want to thank all of our speakers, Bethany and Jenny, Anissa, and Lacey. Thank you. I also want to make sure I thank our communications team that was instrumental in putting this together and all the work they did to help set everything up, and Michelle Cox and Lisa Calabrese and others that came up. I probably too many people to remember. Vince DiTilio was instrumental as always. He's brilliant when it comes to crafting presentations. Our technology team that all came together to do all the work necessary to get this program together for you. So as usual with everything in the organization, in my world, everybody else does all the work and I just take all the credit. So with that, I will remind you the vendor fair is still going on. There are 60 local vendors out there, so if you have an opportunity, stop and see them. That concludes our convocation. I wish you all the best for a fantastic school year.